and I'll take it at the end.
Well, these are close together in terms of content, so maybe it's a good idea just to do a refresher on PCM. That's one you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, I think I understood better why everyone was taking the main problems at the beginning. You know, those whatever examples at the beginning. I really ran out of time. It's funny.
Okay. It is a time management issue for sure. That's why I recommend to everybody when you're doing your practice exams to monitor your time and get it nailed down so that you, when you go and take the exam, you're comfortable with how you're doing time-wise. So I hope you're doing that. I did send you a number of files by email. So those are for review. We'll look at some of them right now. Some of them may be repeats that I've already sent. Can you see this one? This one is basically the summary chart that I sent earlier about project delivery methods and the disadvantages and advantages of each one of them. So you need to know what these are by heart. If you have a question about remembering them in particular, then you should use them as a brain dump. But this is what this Excel sheet's all about. Okay, does everybody have a good handle on these project delivery methods? Any questions about them? No? Pretty good on those? Okay, good. They're going to come up. They're going to come up in a number of cases, so this is really an important thing to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this everybody received this. This is the AHPP guidebook to the CE exam. So obviously, if you go down here, you'll see each one of these different objectives in this exam and the page number to review in the AHPP. Has everybody been doing that or will be doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. This book is really probably the most important book, and this is what NCARB's exams are all relying on. So anything in this book, even though I feel like it's a little outdated in some areas, this is the book that they'll be following. And how about this? Anybody tried this? This exam prep?
Mm-mm.
These are a lot of, you can see the content. So this is probably something, if you've got time to go through and tackle these questions. Again, practice, practice, practice.
This is Ballast book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I sent this to you, and it's quite long, but it goes through all the different aspects. I think if you do well on this in Black Spectacles, you should do pretty well. How's everybody doing on their exam percentages?
Mm-hmm.
I took two. First one 67, second one 68.
Good.
What do you find the hard part in there?
The hard part is some of the the questions that I was not expecting that had to do more with construction techniques. Some questions on like shoring of excavation and certain things like that. Just terminology, specificity of terminology of, let's say, a raker and a whaler and that sort of stuff, because I haven't been out to the site in a long time, and I wasn't expecting those questions in there. So there's several questions like that in there about welds and just some of the what you called certain parts of the welds. So those kind of threw me for a loop.
Because I saw someone sent in Slack a document that has a lot of details. It might have been Daniil. Daniil, you sent a document, right?
Yeah, I saw it on the NCARB website that someone said it was helpful for the exam.
It's all lots of details, which some of it I have no idea. Go to it.
So I'm trying to get some more material up on the screen here. Does everybody know what's in a project manual? Yes? You need to know. You need to know that by at least know it really
Yeah.
thoroughly. You can find it in AHPP as well. It's also in the ARE5 review manual. And if I can get up my formulas tab here, I don't know why it's not going up. Oh, it's just not working today. Can you, no, can't see it. Well, if I can't get this up, then I will send you the formula sheet again, because I've updated it, the formulas file. And keep that handy, because that's going to come in play for PAs, PPD, PTD, particularly for PPD and PDD. This is what the big ones are. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. Get up. I'm sorry, I can't get it on the screen. It's on my screen. Oh, there it was. Okay, last time, last chance. There, can you see that? Okay,
Yes.
so if you see my contents, I've now added cubic yards, energy cost savings, K value, R value, fire separation walls, FEMA, ADA project manual. So that's what we're going to look at. Then the specs and the construction drawings. So those last three things are what you need to be studying right now. So here's, this is what I'm talking about. This is, you can also look at page 704 in AHPP. But this little diagram, I think everybody finds this is really helpful until telling you what's in a project manual. So when you when you look at it in more detail, you can see all the different subject matters. Then these are all spelled out in the AHPP by chapter and definition. You need to know these, the specs, the different divisions. These are going to come in handy down the road as well. So just be familiar with the different divisions. Construction drawings, the layout of construction drawings. I know that some of you probably, or some of your firms do this differently, but I believe this is what, we believe this is what NCARB is going through. So structural is before architectural. Some people put it afterwards. I'm not sure if that's going to be a particular question, but just so you get an idea of construction drawing order is important. This is in Ballast, page 4625. So let's just tackle.
This document you sent us today, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That's called Project Manual JPEG. I think I sent it to you.
Yes, I see it. But
Yeah,
it's just one
Project
page.
Manual. Yes, just one screen.
But the document.
Say that again.
The document you were scrolling, what is that? What's this document?
The formulas one she means.
That was, oh, the formulas. I've sent that before. I'll send it again to you.
I can look
Just
to
an
see.
update.
I see. I guess I didn't.
I'm
download that.
updating it as students are passing tests and they're getting back to me and saying, you know, you need to cover this other area. Like I've mentioned, maybe I mentioned to you last time, cubic yards is a big deal. I didn't realize cubic yards was such a big deal. The reason is because people were forgetting to divide by 27. They were just giving the answers in cubic feet, not cubic yards.
Mhm.
Well, we'll cover that. We'll cover that later. So unless there's anything else, I've just got 2 case studies that we can go through. There was one actually, one other thing. Still here. Nope. Let's do this one first. How are people doing on case studies? Are you getting through them with good scores? With knowing the answers as they're coming through?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. One thing to note, the last exam I took last night, the practice exam, it had the case study we reviewed last weekend,
Mhm.
and a couple of the answers were marked wrong, even though they were correct. I think one was when we were doing the EUI, the negative 15.3 or something. It was the answer.
Yes.
And I put that in there because I knew what the answer, how to calculate it, and it still marked it wrong.
What they say was right.
It matched, but for whatever reason, it matched. It said it was wrong. So it was.
Oh, you're
kinda
saying it
weird.
just said it was wrong, but it gave the correct answers of -15.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
the answer matched, but it still marked it wrong.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll bring that to their attention.
Yep.
That's, do you remember what exam that was?
Yes, it was exam number 2, and it was case study number 1.
In practice exam 2. Okay.
Yeah.
What other one did you find was a problem?
It was. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. It was not that one. I think it was in the same exam case. Yeah, it was the same case study. It asked for the cost per square footage, and the answer was 153.64, but it didn't say to round up or round down, and I just put 154, and it marked it wrong. So I wasn't sure. It was.
It didn't say to round up, right? Or
It didn't say. So I guess in a way I probably should have just put the exact decimal.
No, that's
but
not right though. I mean,
it-
ARE, from what I understand, they don't, if you said 154, they'll still give that
Mhm.
to you
That's what I thought. So
unless the question that specifically says don't round up or
right.
something like that. But if
Okay.
it didn't say anything, then if you round up or leave it at 153.64, it should still be a correct answer.
Okay.
So I'll bring that to their attention, see if they can fix that.
Okay. So
Yeah,
those were
anytime
the
people
only
run
things.
into questions like that, I'll bring it to their attention, see if they can correct that.
Mhm.
But everybody remembers that question referring to that -15 and why it's a minus and not a plus?
Mhm.
Yes? No?
I don't remember.
Yes, I remember.
Okay. It's because it was dealing with the energy index, energy,
Oh yeah.
right? And so if it's a net zero energy building, which I believe that was a case study,
Mhm.
then it was actually producing more energy than it actually used. So therefore its net energy use would have been a negative. Okay, could everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Good. This is a college campus, 180 acres, 10,000 square feet, $3 million, $350 a square foot. I'm just looking for some key things here. Protected mangroves and forests, that sounds like something that's going to be interesting. To prohibit building. Program requirements, I can see all these quickly. 50 parking spaces. Well, looks like a fun project. So it looks like the resources are going to be photos, AIE contracts will be in the resources, and the CSI project delivery practice guide would be in your resource tab. Here's the site. Nice. Here's the protected mangroves and forests. Existing boathouse. Looks like the private properties on the other side of this yellow dotted line. I can see parking over here. Okay. The architect is assembling the appropriate AIE document to instruct bidders on new boathouse. Which AIE documents is relevant? Which AIE document is relevant? Choose one.
Can you zoom in?
Zoom in? Sure. Which AIE document, we got to do this right, is relevant? Choose one.
The A305.
A305? Does everybody
Is it?
agree? Is that
Yeah,
instructions for bidders?
it's either 7 or 3, and 7 is not instructions to bidders.
Oh, might be the 4. It's between 3 and 4. Might be the A701 actually.
Okay. Does everybody
think those
agree
two.
with, which one does everybody agree
Yeah.
with?
Yeah, I
Is
think
there-
instructions to bidders is 701.
think so.
A701?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, A305 is qualification statement. Yeah, I would make sure you get this 8701 and just take a look at it. If you don't, let me know and I can send it to you. Does everybody have these contracts, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you should definitely have access to these contracts either from your firm or from the library, or you can see if you can download them, the PDFs, even just a sample. In other words, not the whole contract, but a sample of it would be helpful, just so you get familiar with it.
With the
The AIA website has them like they think they marked them all void, but they're for like study guide or reference or whatever. But they have the copies of most of the contracts for free.
Good. I didn't know they could give them to free because I thought you had to be a member or you have to buy them.
Now you can do a preview. There's a little button for preview, which has a little watermark
okay.
on it.
All right, so you can.
Yeah, every page is watermarked, so you
Oh,
can't
okay,
use
so you really
it.
can't use them. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Okay, here what are the items to be provided in the contractor's financial statement? Choose 3. What is it the architect and the owner want to know about the contractor's business?
Well,
You can do
one.
3. 1,
financials.
3,
Oh yeah, not
net
one.
3, and 6. Oh no, 5. Net 3 and 5 maybe.
What do you think? 3. Choose 3.
I'm gonna say 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, number of employees. You think it's important or not?
I don't think so.
In a financial statement, you would need to know the net fixed assets.
Yeah, I think you need.
And the
I think you
current
need 3.
liabilities, that would be in there. 3 and 5 is, I think, for sure.
You think it's important to know how long it's been in business?
Not in a financial statement.
Hmm.
Maybe. They usually ask for the
Yeah.
last 3 years. Whenever you want any financing.
But if they're brand new, wouldn't you want to know that? Like if they just started 3 months before?
I mean, I think you do, but this question is around what are the items provided in the contractor's financial statement? You might be right. I mean, it does make sense. But
How about the number 4? It's important to know the major project values? Or is that confidential information?
that's part of your liabilities, no?
I don't know if that's a liability, but
Well, you're in contract for such and such.
I just don't know if
project.
I'm trying to guess here, kind of be devil's advocate. Do you think that's confidential information that you can't divulge, or is it something you can divulge? Do your firms do that? Do you let your clients know the value of the project you're working on?
No, but I'm a WBE, and there they want to know everything.
Okay, so what are we going with here? Are we going with 3, 5, and 6?
financial statement, I would say even one.
We're the one, I mean, who's vetting this document? I mean, who's preparing the review of the assets? I mean, they could be anybody.
It's a contractor's cousin.
Yeah, I would want to know who is the notary, or whoever did it, who's the accountant, who, you know, how was this prepared? Because anybody can make it up. If not,
Okay, so there's a little haven't really zeroed in on these very well, right?
Well, I think definitely 3 and 5.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Okay, so let's stick with 3 and 5. So what would be the other one then? Got to make a decision. There's 3 choices you got to pick.
All right, so the name of the person who did the financial statement, the company.
So
So
1.
1, 3, 5. Yeah, there you go.
Very good.
Bingo.
It only took all of us to get it right. That's great.
Can you
All right.
All of you
Okay.
follow me to the exam. Teamwork.
Can we do a group test?
So this is in A305, the contractor's qualification statement. So this is what's listed. So on number 4, it says that basically it's required in section 3 on experience, but not in the financial. So that was a good, and number 6 is required in section 1. So these are 4 and 6 are required, but not in this particular financial statement. So that was the key. That was the key phrase there, right? Financial statement.
That's right.
Oh, you did get it. Okay. In reviewing the project program and budget, the architect must determine most cost-effective approach for the new boathouse amenities. What should the architect advise the client? Tell me if you need to go back and look at any pictures. Remember, there was an existing boathouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you advise the client about the most cost-effective? That's the thing. The key word here is cost-effective approach.
I would eliminate number 3. Why would you immediately assume you're
Spend
going to
money.
I think there's only one obvious answer here, and that's 2.
2, it sounds like it would be the cheapest, because if you do 1, you have to do 3. Well, you have to build a new one. And that's obviously the most expensive option for you to build a new boathouse.
So it's easier to demolish something and build from scratch, depending on program. Than
It
to,
is. I can't imagine a boathouse would
Well,
be.
if this was your yeah, if this was your project, what do you think is going through your mind with your team of architects? What would be the most cost-effective approach?
Not buying new property, that's for sure.
Okay, number 3's out. I think number 4 is something regarding they've got to put 50 parking lots in. So if you look back at the site plan, I'm not sure. Let's take a quick look at it. If you get 50 parking lots there.
where's the?
There's
There's
the boathouse. You could definitely add on to it, right?
Yeah.
You could demolish and build right on top of the site. Maybe you could put parking right over in here.
Yeah. Who wants parking?
This existing parking is way over here. That's too far away, probably.
And you're not going to take a boathouse further away.
That's
You could build it over here. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. You wouldn't build it near the parking lot. That doesn't. You want to have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you would not build it near the new parking lot.
You
Yeah,
want.
you got these protected mangroves.
Yeah.
Blanketing around there, so you probably can't build it here.
Correct.
So okay, let's go back to the question then. Kind of zeroed in on it. So what are you going to go with, number 2?
Yeah.
Number 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, can you read trust shop drawings?
So that's,
Identify the location that signifies 3 feet 7 1/4 inches.
Oh, you gotta do math. Oh no, wait, I think I seen it. No.
Have you ever received a shop drawing from a trust company? That's kind of what they look
Can't
like.
say I have.
okay.
Okay, so you got to find, what does it say? 4
3,
3 feet.
7.
3 feet.
I found
7 and a
it.
quarter.
How do you want me to tell it? It's there.
You found it?
Between E and F.
But I'm
Right.
not sure if it says a quarter. It says 4. What does that 4 mean?
You're,
That
you're
mean a
saying right
quarter?
here, Farnez, right?
Yeah.
It's 374.
Well, everything's in sixteenths, so 4/16 is a quarter.
Isn't that
Okay.
isn't that it?
Yeah, because
So
you see
then that'd
12
be-
quarter, or I'm sorry, 12/16.
Is everybody going with that?
Okay.
Does that look
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have a little chart thingy.
Yep.
So they just dropped the 1, right? I mean,
Yeah, the industry acronym is FIS. This stands for feet, inches, sixteenths. Therefore, 374 signifies 3 feet, 7 and 4/16. So 3 feet, 7 and a quarter. So who did that? Who got that right?
I don't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah, you guys.
What?
Nope. I have no
You
idea.
don't know what's going on?
School.
You just received this truss from the truss manufacturer. So this is their nomenclature. So the question is, where is 3 foot 7 and a quarter in the nomenclature? So they just want you to know how to read the truss, the acronym to FIS.
This is kind of like cubic yard question.
Exactly. I mean, once you know this now, you should not have a problem with it, right?
You just picked 374 because it says pick 374.
Yes.
No, but
exactly what I'm
374 is the way they write 3 foot 7 and a quarter. It's just the
The
way
question
they.
is, find the location that signifies 3 feet 7 and a quarter inches.
Oh, okay.
So 4/16, because that's what they want you to know, is it goes feet, inches, and sixteenths, right? That's what they want you to know.
Okay.
So now you know it. Now you know how to read a truss drawing that comes in from the.
Well, I don't know that we.
Do you guys do a lot of send all your
How did you say we
construction truss
calculated?
drawings out? You don't engineer them, do you? You have your truss.
No.
The truss manufacturers engineers it, right?
Mhm.
Have you ever seen it?
Our
In
structural
shop
engineer
drawings, they use
does
the
it.
FIS method.
Never.
No?
So just to understand, the 4/16 and a quarter are the same, and they're writing it as a fourth of.
Right.
what?
Yeah, because it's obviously difficult in the FIS system to write a quarter inch on all these different numbers.
Mhm.
So this would be like this one up here would be 4 feet 7 and 12/16, which is what?
3/4.
3/4.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you know how to read an FIS shop drawing. Contractor has requested a material substitution. This is a really important subject. This comes up a lot. What constitutes a substitution? What information should the architect require to substantiate an appropriate material substitution? Choose 4. This is going to be probably the resource for this is AHPP.
So we have 6 questions, and maybe it's easier to get rid of 2. I would say kill off
5.
5.
Yeah, 5 is on.
Yep. Okay. 5 is out. Now that may be important, however, if the project requires LEED certification
I don't
and somebody
recall
is
seeing that.
substituting a material
Mhm.
that doesn't meet that LEED credit, right?
Right, but did it say that in the write-up? Did it
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
I would also
No, I don't see it. I don't see it as a LEED requirement.
I would tend to kill off number 4 as well.
Yeah, because that sounds like a lead requirement.
Yeah, I don't see why that's relevant to specs or life cycle or
It'd be relevant if it was like, might be relevant if it was a lead project, but it's not.
I would tend to
So
kill.
when you do material substitution, you are supposed to provide the similar performance to the.
I'm just saying it's easier to kill off 2 as opposed to knowing 4.
Yeah.
I would say kill 4 and 5, and the rest must be valid.
On
Well-
what 6
Well, number 6 seems kind of like it might be wrong.
elements of the work contractor should provide revised design drawings stamped by professional engineer. I don't think 6 is correct.
Yeah, because he doesn't do the design drawings.
Anyway, what
Or the
kind of
engineer.
engineer? Why would I need any of that? I would keep 4. I would keep 2. Life cycle cost assessment is sort of a tricky question. Yeah.
So you're agreeing that 1, 3, and
No, 1, 2, 3.
1, 3 are correct, though, right? Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think
So-
3 is correct.
6 is weird. And
Under the life
4,
cost
I don't think it's
assessment.
necessary. Yeah.
I
Well,
think
read it-
3 and
read it-
4 are
Read
needed.
it, read it carefully. It says where this substitution may include modifications to other elements of the work.
Yeah, but I don't think the contractor would do the design drawings, revised design drawings. Wouldn't the architect be the only one doing
Well,
that?
the contractor is responsible for substitutions, though.
Right, but if only if it's shop drawings, their engineer might do a shop drawing for something or another, but to substitute a material,
Imagine if you were, because it's saying
Right.
modifications. So if you had Corten steel and you went to phenolic resin panel instead, and then there was a different detail for mounting the phenolic resin panel, I'd want to know the specs and the substitutions or information on that too. It could cause a waterfall effect, a ripple effect, where one thing
you're right.
goes to the next.
Yep.
Trips.
Yeah, but would the contractor drop those details?
These including modifications, revised design. I mean, I would expect it. Someone changed my design and they're
Well, I mean, if the contractor didn't provide it, then the architect would be asking for a change order to pay for that service. So why would the owner pay an architect to additional design services to design drawings if the contractor is making a recommendation for a substitution that's going to change elements of the work?
I
So
think
then
the
we go back-
language is suspect here because it's saying that the modifications are something that someone else is going to do for us, and then owner and engineer have to review it as opposed to what us.
Yes,
Something
the whole the
about
part
is
of it saying
fishy.
design drawings is what's throwing me off because even if the contractor is making a change, he wouldn't change the design drawings.
Yeah.
They're our drawings, so we're responsible for them.
Okay.
That's just what
Sounds
I'm saying.
logical. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I'm just wondering why they capitalize these words. That's
Because they
throwing
didn't
me
say
off.
architect.
That's throwing me off. It's either bringing attention to it or. Okay, so what have you decided to go with?
1 through 4.
1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
No.
You see, David was right.
Well, I wasn't completely right.
It's,
No, but 6 is right. So
it's from, I'm looking at the resources, so it's from the project manual, and yeah, this is really important to know because this is going to come up. I'm sure you're going to run into this question about substitutions. What constitutes a substitution?
That makes sense. I mean, like, why are you getting the life cycle costs? But I just think number 4 seems weird. Like, I don't give a rat's ass where these other projects were used. I mean, like, I'm not going to visit it. Who cares? It could be in Denmark for all I know. I mean, like,
no, but
well,
the
you want
performance data they
The
want
field
that.
performance data would be helpful, right?
Yeah.
Only if it's the same climate, right?
You want it to. They're asking like, does it have the same fire rating or is it whatever? They're just on the material change.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
saying-
that this question.
It's saying similar projects, so they're not looking. They're looking for. It's
Use.
even a name and address of a project, so it could be that you want to actually call up and find out, did it work? Did it work well? Did you have any problems with it? I mean, you're making a big decision on a substitution. But anyway, so these are
So what was not part of this, I take away, is that actually the life cycle cost assessment is of no issue to this substitutional material.
Correct. And the lead credit would, I think it would have been a correct answer if it had been required by the project. In my opinion, I think it would have been required to see if it's replacing a product that met a credit, a lead credit, then I think you'd have to find a substitute that also met a lead credit. Correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I would make sure you take a deep dive into substitutions. Architect is reviewing AIE document A201 regarding the time limit on claims. What's the maximum time limit after the date of substantial completion that a claim can be made? Choose one.
1 year.
I thought it was 10 years
10 years.
on the A201.
That's
Isn't
just
it?
that-
After, yeah,
I think it's number, 10 years, number 4.
4. Mm-hmm.
For interior design, it's 5, and there's no way it's 1 or 2.
So what do you think it is?
Number
4. Number
Yep.
4.
You should know this.
It's from the last exam.
This is
Yeah, this is an obvious. You should just know this by heart. You should have answered that question in 2 seconds.
Was 4 even an option?
What?
I didn't see number 4.
No, 4 is number
10.
4.
The number of answer.
Oh,
It's a number of it's the answer number.
sorry. I was like, what?
Okay, looks like here we've got a hot spot. The architect is reviewing the contractor's submittals to verify his or her understanding of the project scope. The contractor submitted images of boathouses to support what she understands the scope to include. Which of the following examples indicates that the contractor doesn't, keyword, doesn't understand the client's program? Highlight the correct image. Do you need to go back and look at the program?
Yes, please. Okay.
The answer is kayak canoe storage.
So, racing tank, right?
And racing
Exercise
tank.
gym facility, team rooms,
What's a
Yeah.
racing tank?
a racing
the-
tank.
Image on the right.
You know what that's where you're in an enclosed water tank so that the crew can practice in their boats.
Yeah,
Oh,
you stay stationary and the water is moving and
Yeah,
occurring
it's
and
in-
you're
I
rowing
think
against
it's
it.
always
Oh.
indoors.
okay. Wow.
I think every university's got these now, right?
Okay.
I'd never seen that before.
Me neither.
Okay, let's look and see if the contractor knows what he's missed. Who's got something wrong? Okay,
4 images. I didn't see that there were more images.
There's 4 images.
I only see 2.
So A
it says
and B
which
are
of the following examples? It doesn't tell you how many.
No, you have 4 images. Can we see the other 2? Wow.
Let me back.
Of
Okay,
these
so it
2?
looks like this is kayak storage. This is a racing tank.
That's the racing tank. Okay, cool.
This is equipment storage. Um,
Repair of some
whatever
sort.
that is.
I don't
Those
know.
are some
Yeah.
fancy boats. That's what that is.
Boat dock.
Oh, there's more.
4.
Ooh,
Surfboards. So I
no, that's
suspect-
stand-up paddle.
Yeah,
I don't know my difference.
I do not know that.
That's a stand-up paddle board.
Well, what difference does it make? Was that a requirement?
Yeah,
No,
it said
it,
paddle.
I
It
didn't
said
see.
this. It said
Did it?
stand-up. It said paddle board.
I see.
Mhm.
Okay. And what's on the
Exercise
right?
gym.
yep.
Hmm.
We need the exercise gym.
Okay, so what do you think? What did he miss?
the boat
D.
dock, D.
D?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fancy boats.
Well, he obviously, the contractor must own this boat right here. So he decided to put it in the boathouse. Yep, D's right. Program includes racing shell, rowing tank, kayak storage, paddleboard storage, exercise gym, safety equipment storage. Does not include motorized boat storage. Oh, what a bummer. That's a really nice design. But for 2 boats, that's awfully expensive, right? It's like owning a horse. Okay. G701. Contractors issued a change order. May require structural modifications. What individuals must sign the change order? Choose 3.
Architect, contractor, and owner.
The engineer.
Mm-mm. I
No?
don't think so.
Modifications?
Oh, no, because it's a change order. So, no,
Yeah, it'll
I
be
think you're right.
145.
Architect, owner, contractor. Yeah.
Everybody agree?
What was the answer again? What did you-
1, 4, and 5.
Yep, remember that. That's the only 3 people that need to sign a change order.
Also, just as a reminder, the G701 is change order. The A701 is the instruction to bidder.
Right.
Good way to remember it.
Yeah, good.
That's a way to
Yeah.
remember it.
Really, really important to know that. And also, if you look at this document, if you've got it, you can see that the change order signatures are just these 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
There's no space for anybody else. That question will probably show up. Okay, there are special conditions that apply to the architect's certificate for payment. Which conditions should the architect inform the contractor? This is G702. You need to get a copy of that and read it.
Quality of the work.
Number
I don't think
2.
it's 4. The owner wouldn't do that.
It's,
Yeah, the current
We can
architect should be
eliminate
flipped on number 4.
1 is wrong, and 4 doesn't sound right,
Doesn't sound right.
and 3 is too like unnecessary. It must be 1, and 21 days looks really common.
So the architect can't pay this contractor cash
Right.
under the table?
But
Or on the table.
Or above the table?
Above the table.
So what are you saying? 1, 3, and 4 are
2.
wrong?
Oh, 2 is right.
So you say 2's right?
I feel it's 2.
Let's play devil's advocate. Is this certificate non-negotiable?
No.
No, if it's wrong, you mark it wrong.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Yeah, I was just thinking that because on a certified check it says non-negotiable.
Yep. When the architect certifies this payment, it's non-negotiable.
Wait, I'm sorry. It was saying it was negotiable.
It's not.
So once you certify a payment, it's done. Even
Right.
if it has nothing to do with the actual payment. It's the certifying that
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
read
lock
what
it
was
down,
done.
right?
I recommend you get
That's
it's not a
G702.
certificate.
Get G702 and read it. So you got those terms down, but that's a tricky one, I guess. But that's
Can't the architect also withhold payment? Or is
Sure.
that happening after?
no, he definitely can withhold payment.
But not after he certifies the work is done.
So you just reduce the amount for the next check?
Yeah, he can modify it once he gets that application for payment. That's when all these discussions are up. So if he denies the application for payment, that's when the contractor can dispute or appeal or whatever. But once the architect certifies the payment, it's non-negotiable. Make sense?
Yes.
The difference between application for payment and certificate for payment.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever said that, this is right. The architect certifies to the owner that the work has progressed, not the other way around. Okay, this is non-conforming work. Another topic you need to know a lot about. You need to know in great detail what constitutes non-conforming work. What area should the architect be looking? Choose 4. You want to eliminate 2?
Well, I don't think it's not 5.
I agree.
Okay.
Number 3, clerical errors. Isn't that like an administrative sort of task? Seems odd.
I thought that looked weird too. Like, how
Yeah,
would
I would take out 3,
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Yeah.
So what if the clerical error was a dollar number amount, but an extra 0 in there, or 2 zeros?
But that's not related to non-conforming work. I mean, it's,
Non-conforming work, is that to do with the finance?
Just being devil's advocate here.
yeah. Like if somebody orders the wrong amount of material or something, or
In
This
this
is a
question,
dimension.
I would say anything that's to do with work is more likely to be about non-conforming. Technical issues, analytical errors.
So a lead time order error would be
yes,
relate to the work.
yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, so we're knocking out 3 and 5. Let's see if we're right. 1, 2, 4, and 6.
1, 2, 3, and 6.
Ay, ay,
So-
ay.
Errors resulting.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I brought that up because I had a feeling that
Yep.
clerical errors
let's see,
could be
yeah.
a big deal.
Mhm.
I mean, that's actually where a lot of mistakes are made, are clerical. I found them, we find them almost all the time. So this is regarding the work part. It's the analytical. This is the incorrect recording of analytical results, like the slump test or who knows what. The
Yeah, and
Top
3 is timed.
Actually,
4, I mean.
Jesus Christ, it's 6.
I guess non-conformance does not necessarily mean it's not conforming work. It's just it's delaying the project time.
But it's not conforming to the schedule.
I don't think schedule is part of non-conforming, is it?
Well,
get
this is from
the project
this
on
is from
time.
A201, so I guess you need to look at Article 12, uncovering and correction of work. So make sure you study Article 12, okay? Because this will be on there. I'm sure you're going to get some questions on non-conformance. Remember Article 12, A201.
Right.
Another A201, substantial completion. Owner has identified work not to be in accordance with the requirements of contract documents. What actions are taken? Choose 4.
I don't think it's 6. Six could be crossed out.
I don't know. I think I'd rethink that.
Couldn't the owner just finish the work on his own without, if the contractor fails?
Yeah, but it says by approval by the architect. So
But-
if the
I think
I'm
5 is wrong.
just playing devil's advocate just to check your logic here. Just to see if you can defend it.
Oh,
I don't think the owner needs the architect's approval to finish their house.
correct. I agree with
yeah, they have the right to do it.
Okay. But are you saying that the 6 is yes or no? I mean, if the contractor fails to correct the work, the owner can, first of all, the owner can accept non-conforming work, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the architect approves. But if the contractor fails to correct
I
the
think
work,
6 is
the owner
okay.
can either issue a change order directive, right? In which case, if the architect approves of that, then the contractor's got to do the work. But if the contractor fails to do the work, can the owner commence to correct the work? I mean, what choice does the owner have? I don't know. I'm playing a lot of games on number 6, but just checking everybody's logic here.
For me, I know I always do this, it doesn't always work, but if I have to choose 4 and there are 6 and I gotta get rid of 2, I'm immediately suspicious of 1 or 2. One of them has to go because they contradict each other.
One or
Yes,
two
sir.
have to go?
One or the other.
Correct. 1 or 2 must go.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Okay.
So I'd have to get rid of 1. And the receipt of notice, or the owner would have an issue with it. It would be my impression that it would come. The receipt of notice would come from me, not the receipt of notice from the owner directly to the contractor. So I would say I could get rid of 2.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was thinking 2 as well.
So now I got to get rid of 1 more.
So number 4.
Well,
do you think that
also-
that's... Oh, go ahead.
with one of
You're
them.
convinced number 4 is okay? Does the owner have a time limit?
Yeah.
For the warranty, yes.
1 year? Okay. Just checking.
All right.
Remember, I told you that you need to study these dates, 21 days, 1 year,
Yes.
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. So I hope you've got that down to some
So this
degree.
question number 3 is saying that the architect has 21 days before he lets the contractor know. Right?
I think.
Correct.
Promptly after.
Yeah, the contractor, if 22 days expires, the architect brings the notice to the contractor. You can say, hey, you did this, you didn't give me enough time notice. It says in the contract 21 days.
From the time the discovery was made, 21 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is 21 days the correct amount of days?
Right.
Well, this goes back to the 10-year thing. Owner waives the right to require correction by the contractor. The owner fails to notify the contractor in 1 period. Don't you have up to 10 years of non-compliance?
But isn't that for claims?
That's the claim.
Correct.
Claim?
Like failure, like if your house starts leaking.
Well,
If you were doing let's say a 20,000 square foot home and a 10,000 square foot guest house, and you were living in there, and you would not find, I don't know, you could easily not find something in a year.
I'm sure 60 days to notify.
I think 4 and 5 are suspect.
A little bit sketchy.
Well, I see number 4 and 5 are both using 1 year, correct?
Yes. So
21 days seems like a long time to actually wait and tell the contractor to fix something, right?
That too.
It's
Do you
almost,
think it's 7
yeah,
days?
I would say 7 or 10 days, but I would want him to fix it as soon as possible.
You need to go back and look at your chart.
Yeah.
But, no, everybody, you need to look at 8s. You need to really, I can't express to you or emphasize as much. All candidates saying you've got to know A201 for this exam.
I'm gonna just, because I know we only have about a minute and 20 seconds per question, I'm gonna go with 2 and 6.
I'm gonna go with 2 and 3.
Okay.
Or out.
Anybody else?
2 and 3.
I think 3 and 6.
1 and 3.
1 and 3. Oh boy.
Well, you got it right about the 1 year.
Oh.
I'm way off.
Yeah, you got to study the A201. I wonder this word promptly. I wonder if that's spelled out in terms of what that requires. Does that mean like tomorrow, or how's that defined in the contract?
Reasonable time.
Reasonable time. Well, what would that? Yeah, that probably varies from contractor to contractor. Anyway, so here's the sections you need to really study. 12.2.2, section 2.
Just so I understand, the 21 days was wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the promptly is right. The first one is wrong because it's from architect, not from owner.
Yeah, let's go back to the thing. It says the architect shall give notice to the contractor promptly after discovery. within 21 days.
Right, so 1 and 3, 1 was promptly from architect, and that's wrong. It should be promptly from the owner. And 3, architect does not have 21 days. He has to do it promptly.
I think he has a year, within a
It was
year.
a whole year.
So give
so
notice
yeah.
to contract promptly after discovery of
Yeah,
conditions.
so that's somebody brought that up. So if you're building a project and you discover something on the 10th month, you still have time to give notice to the contractor to repair it.
But that's
Go for it.
unrelated to non-conforming work. I believe it has to do with errors on our end, no?
Yeah, but it was talking about the owner found it, and it was between the owner and the contractor.
Right, but the 10 years we brought up has nothing to do with the contractor. Doesn't have to come back for 10 years. It's our errors that we're liable for up to 10 years. Somebody brought up 10 years, and I just wanted to say, I don't think.
The
it's
10 years is a claim after substantial completion. That's your
relating to the architect, not to the builder. Right? In
Yes.
other words, the claims
That's in
against the architect, not the
B101
builder.
and A201. Yeah,
Exactly.
again,
Okay.
please go back and read these sections, substantial completion and section 2.5. These are the kinds of tough questions you're going to get. So that's why it's important to know those contracts inside out. Take notes as you're reading them, especially the times. You can see the time is really important. 7 days, 21 days, 10 days, 1 year, 10 years. Okay, here's the drag and place. Drag and place the building commissioning activities within the project phases. Which goes where? Does everybody know what when a BOD or base of design is prepared?
Never heard of the term.
At the
Really?
beginning of the project.
Yep. Basis of design and owner's program requirements, an OPR.
OPR.
A BOD and OPR are always done at the pre-design phase.
OPR stands for what again?
Owner's program requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So those two things become the guidelines for all contractors, engineers, consultants. There's a basis of design, but it seems to make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the owner's program requirements would be pre-design. So what would be in design? Or you guys can answer which would be construction.
Basis of design would be pre-design.
Mm-hmm. And commissioning
Warranty.
plan would go under design,
Mhm.
warranty under construct, and then testing under occupy.
Commissioning is part of design or after?
Commissioning plan, so I would say that would be
Yeah,
design.
that's the.
Say the warranties at the occupy.
I don't think you can, maybe,
But your performance testing during construction or after they already occupy the building?
You can do it at the end of construction.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
warranty, I would put warranty last because it has to do with
Yeah.
your occupation, right? Your substantial completion. That's when the warranties kick in. So you would probably
true.
make sure that they start on, that they're all good when you occupy.
Okay, let's see if you got it right.
Okay.
So commissioning plan you would do
Oh,
at
that's
the
first.
beginning?
Wow,
I would not have guessed that.
I would switch these around. I think this just should be over here and this should be here.
Yeah, 'cause we just finished pre-design on our project and we
Commissioning
put out the,
plan.
it's weird.
Yeah, I think that would be in design. I'll have to check with that answer.
Okay.
Looks like it came out of these resources, so I'll have to go check these out.
Can I see the last part of it again? Occupies warranty. Okay.
Can I ask a question? Like,
Yeah.
step out to the bathroom. I just seen this for the first time. Commissioning plan, that just means, kind of makes sense at the beginning because if I'm creating my overall, like a design charrette, and I'm doing the commissioning plan for the whole project, I probably would do it at the beginning in pre-design.
And the reason that might be right also is because in the commissioning plan, things like your nearest subway is a point. And if you're planning that's part of pre-design.
I think that's starting to make some logic now. Since it says plan,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that means you're in the planning phase. And the design and basis of design could occur after the pre-design, so you've kind of got a better idea of the basis of design, right?
Mhm.
As you enter the design phase, now you got a reason to actually write down the basis of design. That seems to make sense now that I look at it, and good logic there. Okay, instruction to bidders. A701. What key elements state what the bidder must represent?
Okay, one's definitely out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think either 3 or 4 would have to be out because they contradict each other.
Yeah, so 5, you can kill off 5. Bidder acknowledges the owner can occupy, considered to be, no, I mean, why would you want anybody in there? That would be disastrous.
Yeah.
The owner can occupy prior to substantial completion, though. If
Right.
he-
It
but
says-
it was his warranty for the year.
Even if it is not considered to be substantially complete. Okay, so yeah, he cannot occupy before substantially complete.
Right, because the architect doesn't have any way of, well, that's not true, but you can't, I wouldn't let anybody in there.
Right, I agree.
And then we have to kill off 1 more.
Well, the architect decides if it's substantial completion or not.
3
Yeah.
and 4 are in conflict with each other.
Yeah, one of those has to go.
Well, but who's hiring the contractor though? The owner's
The
hiring the
owner.
contractor,
The
not the
owner.
architect.
So
So
3 has to go out.
I think
So
3
one
goes out.
Yeah.
1, 3, and 5
five,
along.
Yeah, 1, 3, 5 along.
I think it's similar to our last question where it was architect and owner, and the contract is always between contractor and owner
Right.
in general. So if it's more of a contractual binding,
I think 3 is out.
So 2, 4, and 6 are correct.
2, 4, and 6.
oh god.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
That was good.
good. Fill in the blank. Get your calculators out. Project has exceeded the budget. Client's looking for cost-saving options. The client is considering eliminating the racing shell facility. Cost is 4,000 square feet, $350 a square foot. You also have to provide 50 parking spaces adjacent to the new boathouse. 2/3 of this parking will be required for a racing shell facility.
So if we subtract that, we gotta subtract the cost of the racing facility, and 2/3 of the parking spaces would also go.
That's right.
Which means we need to
Okay.
know what the parking area is.
So we do,
Well, we could go by spaces. You go 2/3 of 50,
I have to go back
right?
at the program
In
though.
addition to some, the
You need to go back to the
parking
program?
space adjacent to the boathouse.
That's right.
Well,
There's-
why do you need to go back to the program?
You know, never mind.
Well,
Okay.
it's 1.5 million to remove just the facility, and then 1.4, sorry, and then we just gotta figure out how much to get rid of the parking. So
50 times
divided by
0.66. It's 33 spots. So that you need a
2. So you got times that by
remove 17.
350.
So the answer is 1,405,950 dollars.
Plus 1 4.
So
I got
I'm-
one for 11,666.
can you all calculate the parking for me? I understand what you're talking about.
There's 50 spaces, so you need
So you're
Two-thirds
eliminating,
meter.
the challenge is to remove 2/3 of this.
So you could take 50 and divide it by 3, and then you
1/3.
have like 1/3, and you can just times that by 2 for 2/3, and then times that by 350 because the cost.
God,
Right?
You,
Well, you gotta figure out how many parking spaces there are, and then times the cost of the times that by 350.
I rounded up, so I went 17 parking
Oh,
spots.
yeah.
17 times 350.
Well, that'd be 1/3, right? You need 2/3.
they want to eliminate 1/3, so they want to eliminate, let's say, 16.6.
Right.
No, I said 2/3 of this parking is required for the racing shell facilities.
Right, that
and
means
if
you're
they're moving the racing
eliminating
shell
1/3.
2/3, you're eliminating 2/3 because they're eliminating the racing shell facility.
No.
Correct.
In addition to
That's what it
I'm-
says, second
I'm-
sentence.
Second sentence, get rid of the racing shell facility, so you get rid of their parking spaces too.
You're right.
Yeah.
So what are the savings?
A key challenge of this part is 50 adjacent to the new build. How 2/3 of this would be required. I don't understand where it's eliminating.
Because for
If
the
you're eliminating
racing
the
shell
racing shell
facility.
facility, then you don't need 2/3 of the parking spaces,
No, that makes sense.
You lost
So-
me, but I'll wait.
right?
I got 1,411,900 if we round up.
Before you calculate that, can you tell me how many parking spaces are needed according to you?
Well, if you do 1/3, it would be like 17 parking spaces. So you want to subtract 34 parking spaces. Rounding up.
That's a good question. Which way are you rounding to?
I rounded up.
So it's just
So
the sum
unless
of
you-
the two
What
things,
are we
right?
coming up with for 2/3 of the 50 parking spaces? I think that was far enough.
11,550.
How many?
Well, 11,550 is.
No,
the
but how
dollar
many
amount.
parking spaces are 2/3 of 50? What'd you get?
Um,
33 or 34 or
34.
33.
33
round
would be rounding down, right?
Yes.
So you'd have to round up though for parking spaces.
Do
I
Yeah.
guess you're right. Yeah.
'Cause you can't have a car in a 0.3 space.
That's
True.
true. So I got 11,900. 11,900 for the parking spaces.
34 times 350. Yeah. 11,900
And then you had
plus
one
1,400,000.
Right. That's what I got.
Everybody
Yeah.
kind of follow that logic?
Yeah,
Okay, let's see what,
once we understood the 2/3 business. So 33 was enough.
Yeah.
yeah, 33 apparently was okay. I would have rounded it up, but 33. So anyway, you're in the, did everybody kind of follow that logic?
Yes.
Good.
So they round down?
Apparently,
That seems weird. But I wonder if on the real exam, if it doesn't say round up or round down, we probably would get either or.
you probably would get either one correct. Because yours would have been what, 1,411,900?
900. Yeah.
900 instead. Yeah, I think they would have counted that. But again, I don't know. I'm not in CARB. Okay. Now, okay, the neighboring property owner is going to donate a portion of the shoreline property for a new boathouse. This site will provide excellent shoreline frontage as well as adequate parking. How should the architect adjust the contract and fees? Let's look at this drawing here. So, yeah, he's probably going to donate this part here, right? So you've got great access to the waterfront.
And it's not protected.
Yeah, it's not protected. It's right on the waterway. So yeah, it's a great site.
Yes.
There's plenty of parking. It'll probably be named, boathouse will be named after that project owner, property owner. Okay, what do you think is going to have to happen? What's the architect going to do to adjust the contract and fees
I don't know.
to make this change? What's G701 again?
Substantial
Change.
completion.
Bidders. I mean,
Change-
exchange order.
Change order.
Change order.
It seems too big of a project for a change order.
Yeah, because they have to get a new survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards a new contract.
I would say 3.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it's special projects. No,
Whoa,
101.
yeah,
Basically, it's between 2 and 3 because it's either additional service or new.
But it feels like because you would have to do like a whole new survey and have to like do a new civil engineering, do everything all over again.
It looks like the
I mean, I
original.
guess it could be a
I mean-
change order, but it'd be a big change order.
You'd have to
Well,
pretty much
keep
start
in
from
mind,
scratch. Basically, it
it's-
comes down to that, right?
It's before you start construction documents. It says at the end of the design development phase. So change order is not even applicable because you're not in construction.
right.
Yeah,
That's
it's the
true.
conclusion of design development phase.
Also, number 2 says it's B102 SP as well, so that shouldn't deter us.
Right. Well, you also think, like we said, we're going to renovate an existing building, and it's completely a new ballgame. I would argue whole new contract
Same, 3.
from scratch.
Well, if it's your firm, what would they do?
New
I,
contract.
I think it'd be additional service, honestly.
I think we would let go of everybody and sell the company.
Hey, you're going to get double your fees here, right? You're going to get your design development fees up to that phase is going to get paid for, and then you're going to start over, right?
Yeah.
We would probably do a boathouse as a new contract.
And there's way too much additional program.
At what phase did we say this happens?
It's after design development phase.
It's a new contract. The surveys have to be done. All this has to be done.
But that can still be part of additional services.
It
can't
could be. I mean,
But
I've
it's
done
all
stuff.
new work.
It's just a lot of additional service. It's the same project.
I have a client right now trying to add her garage as a change order. This kind of is hard to like think of like because none of this is normal, so it's kind of hard to think of what are you really supposed to be doing.
Well, there's some logic to thinking that you've already got an existing contract, the
Mhm.
B101, right? It already spells out the program.
Mhm.
You've already got kind of the basis of design completed. You've got all the commissioning plan completed. So you may have to change schematic design slightly. You may alter that because of the new location in terms of facing the climate location, facing north, south, east, or west. Parking is now going to be more accessible, so that's going to be. So there's some logic to number 2, but I'm not sure. I'm just trying
The
to
question
play.
is how much reworking are we doing? Like, how much of it is a lot of work from scratch?
Well, I can guarantee you the client's probably going to say, just put the new design development
Yeah,
drawings on the
right.
site. Right? I don't want to pay any more money. Just move it over there.
Mhm.
But that may not be the right choice, though. For all the reasons you've stated, is you probably do need to do maybe some soil testing, survey. Okay, what do you want to go with?
Number 3.
Number 3?
Your contract.
I'd go number 2. Let's
Okay,
see.
got a number 2 and a number 3.
And number 3.
I think this is a trick question because in real life, you would try to expand our scope, but they want us to know that we should do a new contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
I think I would probably not do new contract myself, but I should learn not to do that.
this,
I mean, the truth is that even if you sign a new contract, even if you've got a lot of those things done, you can put that in your new contract that you're going to be, evaluating it and maybe using a lot of new stuff. So you may negotiate your fee down differently because of that. The client may want you to do that, but as it states here, is that the new location will open up more design opportunities than the current addition to the existing boathouse.
This was part of another question. That's the only reason why I picked 3, because it said in something like this, I always default to a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about, you have a different solar orientation, wind pattern. There's a whole ton of different things. And they said, just something that's significant, just go with a new contract.
Yeah, that's right. You could get yourself into trouble if you did that number 2, you did additional service, you could just find yourself going down the rabbit's hole here with finding out, oh my gosh, I didn't figure about that or that or that or that. So you're right. New contract's always a safe way to approach it. Okay. I think you guys got about 86% on that.
Collectively, that's great.
Let's see. We've got
Group
one more here.
test.
They'd be passing group test now. 86 is passing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. See if we have time to go through this one. I'll zoom in. East Coast. Boy, it's got a lot of stuff going in it here. Cinema, apartments, mixed use. Land is $10 million. Well, it's not in Manhattan. You know that. It's not in Boston.
Oh, they have a lead rating.
LEED Platinum.
LEED Platinum.
Construction manager as constructor.
Maximum price.
Okay, they're going with a constructor. The CM is constructor.
And a guaranteed maximum
Guaranteed
price.
maximum price. Those are the important things to know.
Oh, without a guaranteed maximum price.
Oh, without. Sorry.
Cost plus fee. So
Okay, they were shortlisted by their capabilities of augmented reality technology and drones. Maybe see if that comes up as something important. So it looks like they're going to be using A134. Does everybody know what that is?
Owner, CMS contract.
It's
Yeah.
for
Constructor.
Right, exactly. And they're using the LEED rating fundamental commissioning requirements. So that's going to be a resource. So you'll have to use that. Okay. What's a bid alternative clause mean?
like alternate.
Bid alternative.
yeah, adult, deduct alt.
Number 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4?
With separate price. Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm. Seems right.
That's right.
Five.
So these are probably important things to know. Responsive bid, addendum, bid alternative. These things will come up. This is page 701 AHPP. You'll run into these questions, I'm pretty sure, on bid alternative.
So can you back up a second and let's see what the answer is. Bid alternate is portion of the work defined in the procurement document for which separate pricing is to be identified. That's the adult
Yeah. That's
bid
exactly
deduct
that.
alt, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so I was right. I just needed to know that.
Okay, these are important to know as well. What's a performance bond?
That is
If somebody doesn't perform, somebody's steps in and finishes it.
They don't finish.
Is it?
I think it's number 2. I think it's during construction.
I think, yeah, 2 sounds right, and
3 would be the bid bond.
Yeah.
Going with 2?
Yep.
Correct. So the first one's a payment bond. Second one is performance bond. Third one's a bid bond. You got that. And the fourth one's a maintenance bond. So you guys need to know all those. Do you want me? I'll send you this
Yeah.
document.
Please.
Yes, please.
I'll send you the other one.
What's a bid security?
Where's the performance bond?
is a bid bond the same as a surety bond? Or no?
What is it? A surety?
Yeah,
That's a person that's
a surety
Where's-
bond.
It-
The person does the bond. Okay.
yes, the issuer of the bond
Okay.
is a surety. Good. You got 2 out of 2 so far.
What I have a question. What's the difference between the I guess the fundamental difference between a bid bond and a bid security? Because that was one of the questions on the practice exam. I guessed it right, but I still wasn't entirely sure what the difference was because the language is very similar.
Yeah, what was it? Did they distinguish between the 2 in the answer? Because they sound like they're the same.
I think I've heard them called a bid
Well-
securities bond before.
See, the question, it says, an architect's designing a boutique hotel. In the bidding negotiation phase, the architect is assisting the client to negotiate the construction contract. How will the owner ensure that the winning contractor will sign the contract for the bid amount after winning the bid instead of walking away? And it was check 2 that apply. And they have bid summary, opening bid, bid bond, bid addenda, closed bidding, and bid security.
Yeah.
So the answers are somewhat obvious, but I didn't quite understand what the difference really was between bid bond and bid security.
Yeah, they sound similar. I would say security is the same thing would be as bond. I mean, that's
Okay.
a bad question
Okay.
because they don't use that word. I think they always use word bonds, as you can see here.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a bad question. That's so much for that, right?
And before I go chase down what the differences are, I figured I'd ask.
No, you can, at least the choices you gave me right there, those 2 are the right ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
This is a Architect Studio Companion. This is where this probably comes from in terms of selecting the right structural system. Is everybody familiar with that book?
No.
I can tell you what page to go to, selecting structure systems, because they have a chart in here about how to select them. They ask questions
name of
about,
the book?
okay,
What's the name of the book again?
Architect Studio Companion. If you don't have it, you need to get it because it's gonna become your Bible for PPD and PDD.
Architect Studio. Didn't we share this before?
I think it was shared.
Was it like a while back or something?
You said Architect Studio Companion?
Yeah, Architect Studio Companion 6th edition is what I have. But
Oh, I see it. It is a required book for PA, PPD, and PDD.
Yep. So I'm not sure why it's in this question, but maybe it's getting you ready.
You can promote it.
Can I throw out some like logic? I mean, I don't know this, but if I'm looking at the keywords here, I have reduced construction schedule and project delivery method. So I have to get rid of 3. I would tend to get rid of exposed heavy timber frame. I like the idea of precast because that can speed up schedule. You can have stuff assembled off site and brought in. And then, so the precast could work, and then cross-laminated timber method.
I would get rid of 1 because that's not cost effective.
But it's necessary.
I mean, steel. I feel like concrete and timber would be cheaper than steel.
Oh, but
Oh,
steel
only
is
problem-
faster.
The question with
Still is
concrete
faster,
systems,
yeah.
precast, is that is a time schedule issue, though.
Yeah, steel.
Yeah,
timber
precast is
frame.
actually excellent if you're doing parking structures or a whole variety of things. I think masonry is also something to kill off because there's nothing about masonry construction.
That's fast.
No.
Yeah, 5 seems like that's a bad one, right?
Yeah.
Outside of like what's being asked here on the at the beginning of the question, they gave you the ratio for the site, and you can only go so big with cross-laminated timber and heavy timber as well.
What about timber frame?
That's just usually the back of a semi though. For those.
Maybe 1, 3, and 6.
1, 3, and 6.
I think so.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice, sold. 1, 3, 1, 4, and 6.
6.
4.
Concrete was right.
Precast. Yeah.
We'll put precast,
Yeah,
so there's no
precast's fast.
no waiting time.
No, I forget the question.
Question
Cost effective and fast.
type
Oh.
2B, number 1. So that's heavy timber frame is out because that's a type 4.
Yeah.
So remember your types. Okay, so the type 2B would include steel, concrete. So then you're looking at project delivery method. What was the project delivery method? Cost plus?
With a
I'm not sure
CMS
that.
constructor.
I mean, in general, especially in most parts of the country, steel frame is actually really good because again, you can be working, fabricating the pieces off-site, engineering them, and then bringing them in.
Yeah.
So
And you should understand tubular frame as well. That's for tall buildings. That's
I
your,
don't know what tubular frame actually is. What is that?
it's like a unistrut, not unistrut.
I wish I could bring it up on the screen, but
I
you'll have
could
to
look
look
it
at
up,
Studio
of course.
Companion page 24 to
Yeah, I will
29.
look it up.
That's what I was looking for, is pages 24 to 29. That basically tells you all these different solutions of picking structural frames.
Oh, okay.
That probably does not need to be in CE though. It seems like this is more for PPD and PA and. Okay, what 4 AIA contracts will constitute the core agreements between the parties for this project? The core agreements.
3, 4.
2. The construction manager as constructor. Oh wait,
But that
Hold
one's
on.
with a guarantee. We have
it
no
could be
guarantee.
3. Right.
Yeah.
It said
So
without
3.
guarantee, right?
Is there
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
5 choices now? 6.
Oh yes, I would say 3. You're right, because it's a sustainable project.
So 3, 4, and 5.
Wait, I'm sorry. We're picking. we're
Oh,
getting-
4.
you
You
gotta
need
pick
4
Oh, sorry, there's a 6 there.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Oh,
and 6.
a
of
6.
course.
Yeah,
Oh, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
6 for sure.
Doesn't
3, 4, 5, and 6.
well, it says without a guaranteed maximum price.
Yeah, they did say without a guarantee maximum price.
So it's not 3.
So-
Oh, wait.
They
No, it
that's
said without.
correct.
It did
Without.
say without.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, without.
Yep, that's where you got to be careful. You got to go back and double check that.
The 3 is without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 is
3,
correct.
4, 5, and 6.
Number 2 is just telling you why number 2 is incorrect. The client has agreed to a payment without a guaranteed maximum price. So that's an A134.
Wait, were we right?
Yeah,
Yes,
you were
you're
right. Yeah, you got them right.
Yeah.
You're 3 out of 4.
Mhm.
We're amazing.
As a team.
Oh, I needed that.
This is important. What are these 2 phases in this contract?
I'm going to go with well, commissioning has commissioner.
Do you think the constructor is involved in site assessment?
No.
Okay, how about
Pre-construction and design, not either. That's why I chose 4.
you chose 4? What does anybody else chosen?
I think commissioning is usually third party, at least
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
pretty much
so-
everything. Most from the exam's point of view, right? I mean, they could be the architect or somebody, but they recommend third party. So I think
Actually,
4.
2 sounds really good.
I'm leaning towards
And 3 to me sounds like design build,
Or IPD.
right? Yeah,
So I would say it's 2.
2.
Yeah, I
True.
think it's 2.
Yes.
Yes.
okay, 4 out of 5. Mock-ups. What are 4 methods of mock-ups?
Established standards.
Oh, these are
Construction drawings, mock-ups, specs.
Specs.
Building department doesn't
well,
have
which 2 would you knock? Which 2 would you knock out?
take out 4.
number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, it's under
2.
code requirements seems
Oh.
kind of odd.
Yeah.
I don't think code requirements would apply to a mock-up.
But wait, a non-conforming work can be non-conforming to code.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
right,
Look
but-
at the key words in the question. It's under his or her control,
Yeah.
Ah, you're right.
right? Under his or her control.
I'm not getting that.
That means it's not a code issue because code is not in our control.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Got
Nor
it.
is building department. There you go.
I think 4 and 5 are out.
Yeah.
I agree.
Fine.
1, 2, 3, and 6.
Yeah.
One, 2. So 2 is not correct. Client's decision.
I thought we said 3 was correct because it's spec.
Corrected. Yeah, 3 is correct.
And
the
so is
architect has
5.
the architect has no control over the client's decision to
Yeah.
accept work. That's why that one's not correct.
So with 2 and
So it
4
is
were
code
incorrect.
requirements.
Code is, yeah.
Code is number 5.
Hmm.
Architect has an obligation to comply with all code requirements. So this is under his control. These
not-
establish standards for identifying non-conforming work. So the architect can either
Interesting.
do it or not comply with code. So I guess that's what they're saying.
Okay.
This is what happens to me. I don't even understand the question half the time.
Question.
Don't worry, you're not the only one.
So I think it's
In
like
order
if you
to
say-
identify non-conforming to work, the architect has multiple methods to establish standards for conformance under his or her control. So definitely code requirements would be a standard for conformance under the architect's control.
I mean, that one's like number 1.
Like, so the
So
So
if
it can't control the
architect,
building
requirement
department, it
wasn't-
can't control the client.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All else.
That's
we
how
need
you have to rule those out.
Exactly.
So it's basically, it's tricky because it's the best choice of the 6, right?
Mhm.
So I
So
guess
it's
I
the
keep going back to
architect's-
this issue about under their control.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it makes
See,
sense.
you were like
it's
my
not that they're writing
afterthought.
the code requirements, it's just that they have control over complying with those
Yeah.
requirements.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
His more threw me. Wasn't really.
Okay, here's the hotspot mockups. Architect has proposed a number of mockups for the project to illustrate structural systems. So you may need to go back and look about identify 2 mockup examples, 2 keyword,
Brick
that best
isn't
represent the construction type of this project.
and
2B.
does anyone remember what our construction type? The 2B,
These
that's
are-
right.
It's
one.
2B.
Hilltop panels, A and B are not right.
So this is a 2 to 3 story building, right? I think what precast concrete was one of the possible choices. The masonry was out, right?
Yeah.
Yes, masonry was out.
So B looks possible, right?
That's a
Yeah.
tilt-up turn. It's not a porting place.
Then how about C? What the heck is C?
It's,
Yeah.
it looks
Pillar.
like
3D printed. That's
That's
a
a
3D
mock-up
print.
of a something, a column.
yeah, it looks like
Oh,
a
maybe.
steel that's been welded and you're about to do the.
Poured concrete. It looks
D
like-
looks like a mock-up of. Actually, that doesn't look like well.
I have no idea.
It's like a building.
No idea what
That's like
that
a
is.
decorative lattice work or something.
Oh, that's already a building.
Okay, E.
Oh.
Rebars,
That's not really a
Yeah.
mock.
porting place.
That'd be important place.
Yeah.
It's not a mock-up yet.
F looks like it's using CMU block, so that's masonry.
So that's out.
So that's probably out. G.
What the hell?
Well,
Because we had pick 2, right? So you got to pick 2. So H. That doesn't look
oh
like a
my
mock-up.
god.
Yeah, it looks done.
Can I pick none of the above?
Well, question, how many did we have to eliminate?
well,
Pick 2.
well,
So-
G looks like steel frame and precast. So even though it's weird, I think it's the steel frame
Yeah.
and precast that might be right.
I think I would go with G.
G is 1,
Which one? G.
E.
D is 1,
Which one?
and
I think
B,
for
Oh,
sure.
B. Sorry, I didn't hear you. B and
G.
G.
B and G.
B and G's.
Mhm.
Yep.
B. Boom.
Yeah.
Yay!
Nice job.
rationale. A, this wall assembly mock-up includes masonry construction. Client does not want masonry. So I guess that was in the scenario description. Precast tilt-up construction, which would be suitable. Although this is a mock-up of a wall, it's not representative of the structural system for this project. This is not a mock-up, but an actual installation of the patterns. This illustrates actual rebar, not a mock-up. I don't know why a client would want to see a mock-up of rebar, but
Yeah.
CMU block construction, so that's again not suitable. And precast, so that would be, and this is an actual building, not a mock-up. But they went to a lot of effort to build this mock-up, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've been in mock-ups of full rooms, right? Like hotel rooms.
Oh yeah, you have to, but not a whole building.
Oh, you got that right. So you're now at 5 out of 6. I don't know what happened to 7. I must have missed one. Okay, fill in the blank. How much time remains if how much time remains to be reported if an incident occurs 8 years after the date of substantial completion? Statute of limitations is 10 years and statute of repose is 4 years. So they're giving you that information. So how
6.
many years or years time is left?
6 years.
Is it 6? Yeah.
How'd you figure that?
2 left from the limitation on 4.
2 plus 4?
Yeah.
2.
Oh,
Yeah.
just 2.
Oh,
No, it's
come
just
on.
2.
I don't understand that. We studied that
changes,
over and
changes,
over.
changes. You have to go with AHPP because that's what NCARB is going to follow.
So AHPP has it as 2, not 6.
So
No,
No, we
where's
went
the 4
through
years
this
come in?
thoroughly before.
I mean,
There
it's
it goes.
totally confusing.
if you go back up, I had a. This is why I thought about it. I have a friend that has a townhouse in San Francisco, and he developed a water leak, and he was told by the contractor that there was 10 years from the beginning it was new construction, and he lived in it for 8 years, and he had to file a claim within 2 years, or it was so he discovered it, and he didn't have to file it right away, but at that point he had 2 years to make the claim before it was too late.
So
I
then
think,
what's 6
I
years?
think,
6 years after the
Yeah, what about the statute of repose?
I don't think it had anything to do with it.
Oh, it was 2 years to file the claim, not.
Yeah.
Not the okay.
we overthought it.
it's tough
But
because I know that the Schiff Harden, he adds them together.
yeah, that's what I listened to.
I know. He
So
has
it-
them together, so that's why it's confusing and frustrating. But
Well,
I think you
I
need to
think-
go with AHPP.
I think the confusing part was you have to make the claim within 2 years, and then you have 4 years to act upon it. Right?
Yeah, that's a good logic.
That's why I'm thinking, like, it's 2 years to actually
Report
bring it to
it.
somebody's
You can
attention.
report. You have 2 years left to report it, but
Yeah.
maybe you have 4 years to actually.
Do something about it. Like file
no.
like
Then you
I'm
Right?
just gonna follow this 1136. And
I
not
hope you don't
listening
get
to
this. I
anyone.
hope you don't get that question because it's freaking frustrating. You can't get anybody to give you the right answer, or what?
I
At least
think I had it already in the project management.
And what was the correct answer?
I don't know if I got the right answer. Don't tell
Oh,
me.
let's see. Well, my understanding is that, again, it's going back to this AHPP. They're basically stating that it's over after the statute of limitations. Now, I've seen it argued that it's the opposite. Statute of repose is flipped over for the statute of limitation. But I've seen it argued both. It's different state by state. That's the problem.
That's the other problem.
That's the other problem. Hopefully you won't get that question. Or you did get it on your exam already, you said.
Yeah, I think I had this,
Oh, that's terrible.
some variation of it. But I passed that exam, so it's okay.
Oh, good. Then you must have gotten it right. That's what put
Who
you over
knows?
that's what put you over the edge there, was you got that one right. Okay, D701 change orders. What individuals must sign a change order? Well, you should
Oh,
know
we
this
just
one.
did this one.
This one is easy.
145.
145.
You should get this one fast too.
Still be 3.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's
Who's
still
responsible for
architect.
approving the application for payment?
Your
Architect.
screen is on the 2 years. So,
Huh? No, it's not.
No, I think you might.
oh no, it's not. I just see it. I saw my own.
Oh, what are we going with, 3?
Yeah.
This on the project division.
3's correct.
So a CMC without a GMP, the architect still acts as if construction is designed to build.
That's right. Okay, this is Dragon Place. Can you identify non-conforming work on these illustrations? So place descriptions of 2. Oh, sorry. Based on the illustrations, Dragon Place the correct description. So you've got 6 descriptions.
The 2 wood panel samples.
I don't know if I may have to zoom out on this one.
Yeah.
So which is the cross-cut bullseye?
The how do I even point at it?
Or you want to go left down to the
Left down.
left side?
Yeah, start left side.
So what's that
Both
left
sides.
side pointing to?
Straight grain edges.
That's,
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah, because it's straight grain right on it, so.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, to the bottom then, what's that pointing to?
Bullseye entirely on board, maybe?
No, that
Five?
would be the one on the left.
Oh, it's got two, so
We're
I,
on the left
Or
side.
are you asking about that one?
No, I think
So
you're,
in the good composition or not?
Yeah, we're in the good composition, the second box.
Yeah, you're looking, you want the boards to look like the ones on the left, not the ones on the right.
Yep.
That's what you're gonna reject.
I,
Yeah, it's 5.
yeah, 5, and then
but then there's something underneath it though.
So there's 2.
2 go there.
Well, let's do process of elimination. So
Is
go to
it-
the right side and
Okay.
pick what those arrows are pointing to.
crosscut bullseyes, the middle one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And the general one is asymmetrical, unbalanced board width.
Correct.
Because that one is a general, it's not pointing at anything. So then the top right is wild grain to straight grain.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so what's left?
4 and 5 on the middle, and then the straight grain. So from
So
left
the
to right.
left side is 3, 4, and 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Everybody see that?
Yeah, because this one's got the good symmetry, the other one's asymmetric.
Yeah.
All right. So you definitely, if you're looking at these boards, you would tell the contractor that they need to replace, or they're doing the port composition's not conforming. They're missing. This is where you'd have a mock-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd say, this is what we want our boards to look on our flooring.
Hey, we
Because
got
this on the right is really, really bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you got those right. Good. Okay, I'll zoom in again. When is the punch list conducted?
you can remove 3 and 4.
Number 2.
I think it's number 2.
Number
I
2.
think it's, well, the contractor doesn't inform. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
no. Number 2.
That would be for 2.
Number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question here in case we haven't covered it. Who actually filled out a punch list?
The contractor.
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 Good.
GC.
2 is correct.
There's a really good question in the ballast practice test that I'll take a photo of and post it on the Slack channel. It describes the order of project closeout activities.
Oh, good. Is it in that thing I send everybody?
No, it's just, it was in the smaller practice exam book.
Oh, I
about-
see. Something else from Ballast.
Yeah, I'll take a photo and send it.
I don't know if Hyperfine has CE exams, but that may be another source to practice is Hyperfine.
Hyperfine?
Yeah, hyperfine.com. But I think you have to pay for those, right? I think you have to pay for those exams unless he's offering them through some kind of a community. Anyway, so what systems is the commissioning agent reviewing for lead? Choose 4, so knock out 2.
Definitely 1. Definitely 4,
Ugh.
5, and 6.
Sorry, what did you say?
I would say 1, 4, 5, and 6.
I agree.
Fire and life safety are not their problem.
1, 4, 5, and 6.
Or before life safety, what if you're like in a hospital and they're making sure all the
But that has nothing to do with lead.
that's true. My bad.
This is a keyword: is lead certification commissioning.
That'd be the
Okay,
fire department.
1, 4, 5, and 6
Yes, I agree.
is
Yep.
correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Those
took
are
them out of
wrong numbers.
order.
You got them right. They're
Yeah.
correct.
Took them out of order.
This is important distinction. What's the advantage of this method?
Oh,
I
1.
don't think it's 6. I think that would be us. That's our responsibility. That would be the contractor or CM. I think.
Yeah, so basically, what's the benefit of having a CM in the design phase?
Right. I wouldn't be asking them building code
No.
questions.
Sorry, so you're saying you're killing off number 6?
I'm trying. Yeah, I think I would eliminate 6.
Yeah, makes sense.
Why would you have subcontractor relationships that early?
Yeah, I think you're right.
What's a building convention?
Good question. I have
Type
no
of
clue.
construction.
Yeah.
I think it's just like how they
Oh.
look.
Like typical local.
Similar construction.
Like in an area they
Yeah.
can say, oh, we don't have the steel expertise or steel skill level. It's mostly
So what are you eliminating?
6 and perhaps
3.
3.
3 and
Bless
6.
you.
So you're saying 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Now, 5 is scope limitations.
Yeah.
Why would we
I
keep
like
scope?
subcontractor.
Yeah, but
Isn't that owner and construction?
I think that having knowledge about availability of, in order to be able to do a guarantee, the cost plus. I mean, I kind of like. I would want my contractor to have this significant relationships with GC subcontractors.
Subs, yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's just really the word is relationships. It's not we're selecting them right now, but at least they know who the players are there.
It's such a weird thing. Like, no shit. They're supposed to.
Yeah, I just feel like this is more of a big picture question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 5 and 6.
I'm
I would
thinking
take
5
out 5
and
and
6
6.
still.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No.
Nope. Urgh.
1,
God.
2.
So you guys,
Or-
what was your first instinct? No
Yeah,
subcontractor.
Yeah, 3 and 6.
Yeah, 3 and 6 was correct.
Oh.
You
Revive.
overthought that one.
Wait a
We
minute.
did.
I think you're concerned about the tight all boys club
Yeah.
type thing and the relationships. So that's not an advantage of that that particular project delivery method. That could be a disadvantage. Okay. Last one. Calculator question. So they're giving you a 35% billable area
So
permitted.
you just gotta find 35%.
293,
703. or 704.
704,000.
No, 293,704.
Okay.
That's 35% of the total property.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
So I got
What's the question here? Math problem?
Yeah.
293. Did you get that?
yes.
That's funny. They just want us to do the math.
Yep.
This is so simple.
Yeah,
Just
but
hope
they don't
all
ask
of
you
your
how many
questions are
floors or
like that.
anything.
I think most of your calculation questions on these exams now are beginning to be this simple. They're not.
No, but
asking you to
this
spend
is
a lot of
simple.
time.
I hope all of them are that simple.
Maybe you're just overthinking it.
No,
Yeah, if they
sometimes.
said something about, how many floors they needed, that could have driven a lot of the other questions, and specifically this one.
Oh, you got 80% right on this exam.
That's a pass.
That's a pass.
With your help.
All right, we're out of time. Anything else before you
Did you
get
say
ready for your test?
Wait, we're done?
Yep,
Oh, I thought it goes to 1.
it's a 2-hour.
Woohoo!
And,
It is Mother's Day after all.
I
Yeah.
have another cohort coming up.
Paul,
No,
did you
game
spend
day,
last
game
week?
day's 2 hours. Your regulars in-depths are 3 hours.
Ah,
So I'll
Well,
send you these things. Anything else?
Did you send last week's information we went over, Paul?
Those case studies?
Yeah.
Okay. I will.
Okay. I just don't remember seeing them.
Yep. I may not have sent them.
No, they weren't there.
Okay. So are people taking exams next week or this
yes.
week?
Wednesday
Wednesday.
afternoon.
Okay.
Am I the first? Or is anybody going before me?
On Thursday. I'm not.
You're always the first.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
You're
Oh, boy.
the-
All
He's
right, here
an
we go.
overachiever.
Or you pass it, then you give everybody confidence. So
Yeah, all right, I'll give it my best shot, guys. I'll let you know
I think there's a
Wednesday
pretty
afternoon.
good. I think the pass rate from what I just recently saw was 70% across the country
Yes.
passed the CE. So it's a pretty high percentage of all the exams.
Yep.
Good.
So you guys are all at least B students, right? Get 80%.
Hopefully.
All right. I think again, just like I say, just study those contracts, A201, know it by heart if you can. Get those timelines down. But you're doing really well. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.